and give me shelter, shelter. Simple life, it's all we want to live. Give me food, give me clothes, give me love, and give me shelter, shelter. Yeah.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Withotu All Librarians Movement platform, your distinct and dynamic platform that speaks to and for the masses. We are not in the business of manufacturing players, pimps, and hustlers. Rather, we're in the business of changing and revolutionizing the thought process of our people, not only in Liberia, but even around the world. Again, this is your one and only platform, the platform that's in the business of changing and revolutionizing the thought process of our people, not only in Liberia, but even around the world. We're excited today. We are delighted to have with us on the Withotu Our Librarians Movement podcast our distinguished guest, founder and CEO of the LIB Vibes, we say only LSC. LVO is an American-based Liberian clothing brand committed to not only celebrating but also amplifying Liberian culture and heritage through high fashion and timeless apparels and vibrant social experiences. So LVO provides a platform that highlights the essence of Liberian pride and identity. Born and raised in Liberia, I'll say our dynamic guest spent most of his formative life in his country, Liberia. He holds an associate's in electronic engineering technology, a bachelor's of science, I would say in project management, and also a terminal degree in business, I would say management and business administration. That's a master's. We are proud today to say that he's also an Army veteran who served 12 years before retiring with honor. So presently, he resides in the PA. He's passionate about amplifying Liberia's culture, like we said, and his passion extends beyond fashion. He recently launched a podcast also, which is aimed at exploring the Liberian culture, mindset, and identity while promoting the richness of Liberian culture and values. A proud father to a beloved son, Ariezz. Inspire or is also inspired from his experiences and his route to create an impactful initiative that unite and what uplift the Liberian culture. So to our audience, we're thrilled once more to say we welcome live to the platform, to our studio, one and only Ariezz Adriano. This is a very strange name. I know, starting real slow, but please welcome Ariezz Adriano or Napoleon Shipment, also known as Stephen Cooper. So welcome to the platform. This is your debut. We're glad to have you, and we ask that you just for the sake of our audience here, please introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about yourself as we proceed.
Yeah, man. I think first of all, thank you for having me on your platform. This is pretty nice. Setup, everything is good. Really like it. And I've been, following what you do for a while now. So I really like it. But by way of introduction, I think you've already said everything about me. With the exception that it's Aries and not Ariezz.
Okay. All right. Thanks for correction.
Yeah, it's Aries, but like you said, I'm Ariezz Adriano. I'm also known as Stephen Cooper, Napoleon Chappie. And please don't ask me why because that's long stories. But like you said, man, I'm also the founder and CEO of the LIB Vibes Only clothing brand, which is a new clothing brand that's US based but Liberian owned. With the mission of amplifying and celebrating the Liberian, culture, and vibes. Like you said, I was born and raised in Liberia. Spent most of my formative years there. One thing I would like to add to that piece of it is I'm an estate boy. I grew up in the estate. You know, I grew up in Stephen Tuber Estate and New Jersey Estate. Also, attended some, you know, pretty familiar schools in the country like Calvary Baptist, you know, St. Marcos. Ultimately graduated from CWA, you know, or I believe it was 96, 97 school year, and migrated to Ghana. Spent a few years there. Ultimately migrated to the United States in 2003. You know, while I've been up here, I've, you know, spent most of my time, you know, furthering my professional and personal development. Um, I'm also a proud veteran. You know, spent some years in the U.S. military, and can call myself proud to call myself a veteran. And I'm a father. I have a son. He's, you know, I take a lot of inspiration from him. He's like, you know, my motivation in all of this. You know, but like, you know, just to conclude here, I've always had a passion for, you know, my roots. You know, I guess is built in, you know, some of my personal morals, which is, you know, which is being true to yourself, you know, living your truth, you know. So I know we're gonna get deeper into that and all that, but you know, I just want to point out that this is while, you know, when it comes to the clothing brand and all that, while it's a business product, it's coming from a place of deep passion and love for the country.
Excellent. You know, it's amazing that we're sharing time and space here. You know, I'll call you multiple names. I know preferably you like to be called by Aries, right?
Yeah,
Adriano. I think I struggle with the name because, by the way, where did that name come from? You know what I mean? Because I know we go way back. We've had a lot of
yeah,
conversations behind the
yeah.
scenes. So you want to tell us a little bit as we proceed, because this is more of the introduction stage, part of the entire interview.
Yeah. So, fun fact: the name was actually given to me by uh, a friend who lives in Australia currently, called Prince Gunner. And back in the days when we're, you know, living in New Jersey Estate, because of how I carry myself and my love for fashion and clothes and how I dress, you know, they kind of dub me like the Italian or something like that. So hence the name Aries. And Adriano really was added there by me because as I got deeper into what I believe is my calling for, you know, what I do currently, for some reason I felt the need to have an identity associated with that, and that's the identity, Aries Adriano.
Perfect. Then could you also tell us about? I guess I see Napoleon Chapman on right. What is
Yeah,
it?
no put a trap it.
Chapman.
That one I'm gonna pass on. But
Okay.
what
Cool.
we can know, that's my legal name in the United States.
Okay. Cool. All right. So then, well, like we talked in the back, this interview is going to be 3-4.
Mm,
First, we've done our introduction. So we because for the benefit of time, we want to run right into talking about, you know, you being an entrepreneur, talking about LVO, which is like, you know, Liberian Vibes Only LSC. This
all
is
right.
great just to hear that. I mean, it's really attractive. So we're really inspired the creation of the Liberian Vibe Only. And what does the brand name, you know, what I mean, actually stand for?
So the brand name LVO or LIB Vibes only is pretty short for the Liberian Vibes Only. And as far as the inspiration, it's kind of difficult to pinpoint a specific thing that inspired. I do know maybe if I were to pin it on one thing, it will come back again to my morals, like what my own belief system, that I believe in balance. I believe in, you know, being true to yourself and living your truth and stuff like that. So when I migrated to the United States, you know, I've seen on, you know, firsthand accounts where people kind of distance themselves from their roots and their stuff, maybe because of whatever perception it might give and all that. And that frustrated me, So all my time I've been here, whether as a civilian or in the military, I always made it a duty to wear my roots proudly. There's nobody, you know, in all of the multiple duty stations that I know I ever served in that I don't know that I was Liberian to the point to be like the Liberian guy. So it's just been something that takes me. And then the more I started, you know, because for a good point in time when I was in the military, I was a little disconnect, because I was traveling all the time overseas and all that. I try to follow and keep up with things, but it's kind of different than being in the communities and stuff like that. So I disconnected for a little bit. So when I was getting close to my time in the military being over, you know, I started, looking into, how can I get back into my community, and through research and all these things, combined with my passion for clothing and my love for the country, it just came to me that, that would be uh, a good starting point, and I say starting point because, as you read, LVO goes beyond fashion. It comes with a greater message of amplifying the essence of being a Liberian. While, you know, I'm not 100% sure, what that as that essence is in, exact words. I just know it's different, it's unique, and I'm very curious about it, and I'm exploring it, and that's my first step into engaging with it.
So thank you for that response. At some point in time, I'll be kind of a little bit. I won't spell out the entire LVO. I might
Yeah,
just
it's
say
okay.
a live vibe, something like that.
Yeah.
If that's fine with you. Yeah,
LVO is better.
LVO, something like, yeah, I'll say that. And so, our next question. Thank you for the you pretty much detailed with your response. And so we
Yeah.
want to also know LOV, LVO, right?
Yeah.
It is described as Liberia's premier luxury sweat wear or streetwear brand.
Streetwear.
Let's say
Yeah.
for the most part.
Yeah.
So, how does the brand combine Liberian culture with modern fashion? What would you say about that?
So that is a work in progress. The vision, as we know, and I'm pretty sure we'll get into in a little bit, the blueprint of the vision is to, with time, get deeper into all of that, the culture, all that. But in our current state, the way we are resonating, and relating to the Liberians, whether in the diaspora or in the country, is utilizing, some common slangs, phrases, popular, words and stuff from our vocabulary, our local vocabulary, and you know, designing them in a way and placing them on like high fashion garments and stuff like that. Because again, the brand comes from a deeper place. The actual mission of the brand is, to amplify this vibe. And some use cases of that, like, I have this line called the no spotter story. And many times I've got into conversations with other nationals that were curious, and that provided a perfect opportunity for me to tell the Liberian story. So LVO, how we're resonating, we're coming up with these statement pieces that proud Liberians can wear and showcase their roots.
Perfect. So if you have just joining us, you are, watching the We2 Our Liberians Movement platform. We are with the CEO of, LVO, which is Liberia's vibe only. That's it, right? We want to say over and over, say
Vibes.
resonate vibes only.
Yeah, yeah,
LA, so which is a clothing line that amplifies the culture, our culture, which is Liberia's culture and heritage. So we want to move right into another question where we want you to kind of walk us through some of the phrases. We'll just pick up one here, one that says "wear the culture." What I mean, it's often associated with the LVO.
yeah.
Can you walk us through that?
Yeah. So weather culture is just one of many slogans we have for the brand, like a tag of the brand. And as you know, the mission of the brand is to amplify the vibes. So by you wearing an LVO, item, you are wearing that vibe, So that's I think a more straightforward way to answer that, but you know, wearing a vibe from me as an individual, is just wearing your roots, your heritage, your culture, probably.
So then that brings me to another question, which will be more like a subset of the question that I just asked you.
So,
So how or what does it mean? You know what I mean? Or how does it really reflect in your design? You know what I mean? Using that phrase. How does it? Can you explain what this means? You know what I mean? How does it reflect in your design? The wear your culture. You know what I mean? All that stuff. How does it reflect in your designs?
yeah, can you ask that question again? I'm not
Let me ask you a
sure.
question. So first, I asked the question. I said because the phrase "wear the culture,"
Mhm,
you know what I mean. I know it's associated with the
your
LVO,
brand, yeah.
right? Okay, like revive only. So how the all those I would say I guess I said phrases and things like that. So how does it really? How does the let's say one phrase? How does it reflect the culture? I just say
So we cannot argue that how we speak, our common vernacular is part of our culture, So by using the words from our culture is technically, using the culture. So I'm still unclear on the question, to be honest, but the way I'm understanding it, wearing the vibe, how it
okay. So
reflects, like I'm not
no,
sure.
no, let
Yeah,
me break it down, right?
yeah,
I know in the
mm,
back ones were talking, and I think,
yeah,
uh, or I watched a couple other interviews that you
yeah,
had,
yeah,
and the question was asked, right? So if you think about Liberia, and if you start thinking about the culture and tradition, the heritage, people
mm,
are more about the country club, you know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah, yeah,
Or
yeah,
maybe some kind of dialect.
yeah,
But this is a streetwear, all
yeah.
right?
It's a
And
streetwear,
we're just using these
yeah.
phrases, so to speak. So I'm saying these the phrase or these phrases that are being used.
Mm-hmm.
How can we to see the imagery of our culture within the phrase that will be used? How does it, as opposed to maybe somebody saying, uh, is it just, oh, it is a Liberian saying? That's what I'm saying. Or with somebody here heard you saying where the culture, or somebody says the spotted story.
Yeah.
Is it like a is it Liberian is it Liberian saying or
Yeah,
something?
I believe
You understand what I'm saying, right?
yeah, I believe the phrases and slangs and all of these things we're using are unique to Liberia.
Okay.
I do think also, just speaking off from the question, from the top of it, I think that, uh, 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 speaking more specifically to wearing the culture, I do not think it's limited to, traditional wears and all that. So, yeah. So while there are future plans, like distant future plans to incorporate some African materials or Liberian specific materials, again, this is a streetwear brand. The culture of Liberia, how I see it to a certain extent, and how it relates to what we're talking about is the uniqueness of us as a people, which I've seen on first-hand accounts in my travels across the world. Like, we as a people, which is unique, we stand out. We different, and I feel each of my pieces are statement pieces. Like, they're unique, they stand out when you wear it. Like, there's no denying that. Like, you can, it's not missed on you like a Liberian. So if I were to build some kind of correlation with the two, I think that's pretty much where it's at.
Okay. So then again, I mean, we'll be moving to your target
Mhm.
audience, and I mean, the community impact that you've made or making. go back to that, because a lot of times, for example, Nigerians, they have a certain attire that they will wear, and you would know you straight that suit is a Nigerian suit. You know what I mean? If someone wears something from Ghana, would know that. And then, so why didn't you choose that path?
I mean,
to just
because I feel that when it comes to so where, let me go back a little. So where I'm coming from with all of this is, I'm on a mission, and the mission is to amplify the Liberian vibes and all that, right?
right.
So I feel by I feel by, looking at it only from a traditional club perspective, it's kind of boxing us in. Our culture is more than material things, and when I think about our vibes, or the essence of being who we are, either as a community or as a group of people, it's not physical, it's who we are. You understand what I mean? Like what we're made of, what we're pushing out. You understand what I'm saying? So
Awesome.
yeah, so I don't, what is, it's one way of telling a story. I don't think it's the only way, and should be the only way to tell the story.
Awesome, and I think this is good for our audience so that they'll understand it, because a lot of folks
Yeah.
are stuck up in the box where, when they talk about culture, tradition, they in this box always you look a certain kind of way. So you were bringing something new. So that then let's transition to our next question, which has a focus on the target, or your target audience, and some of the community impact. So who are your ideal customers? You know what I mean? We would say, and how does the brand resonate with Liberians in Liberia as well as the diaspora?
Okay, so the ideal of your customer one is a Liberian, um, a Liberian who is passionate about the country, a Liberian who loves his roots, who's proud of where he came from, um, and who, from a business perspective, who can afford who can afford to buy it. I mean, that's the ideal customer. So, but to your second question, as far as, can you repeat that second question now?
The second question is here, how does the brand now resonate with Liberians in
Yeah,
Liberia,
I
locally
mean,
and abroad?
so I think we kind of covered that a little bit, from the top. But what I want to add to it now is it is resonating. I've since the brand was launched officially. You know, we've taken it to Australia to the Liberian community. We've taken it to Canada to the Liberian community. It's all in the United States. We've now taken it to Liberia, and the response have been overwhelming. People like it. They like the branding, they like what it stands for, they like the quality, the material, and all that stuff. So I think it resonates with them. I'm not. I don't think I'm in a position to really say what in it is resonating with them, but for some reason, it's resonating with them, and to a larger extent, I think is what all of this is about. There was this ad done by one of the popular comedians in the country for the brand called Mama Liberia.
Mhm.
And in the ad, he has said, do you know that, when you're wearing this brand, you are wearing the whole Liberia on your back? You
Wow,
understand what I'm saying?
that's
And
big.
while that's not, you know, some might argue it's not a factual statement or that, but I like the entirety and the essence of what he's saying, because that's where the mission is coming from. I want, like I was, when I was in those dark places, and I still stood up and be like, yo, I'm a Liberian, I'm an African, that kind of stuff.
Right.
That's the kind of stuff I hope the brand can evoke in people. Like, I'm wearing no spotted shirt because it's my, it comes from a place that means dearly to me, so I will wear it proudly. So, that's what I got to say about that.
Okay, then it'll take me to our next question. I mean, we know that the brand, what I mean, has a strong focus on celebrating Liberian culture. Now, how do you see the brand influencing the next generation of Liberians?
Yeah, so it's a lot though, and maybe let me take one or two. So for starters, I hope the story behind it all could serve as inspiration for the next generation. This is a guy from my neighbor who you know grew up just like me in this neighborhood, who went to the same schools, live in Nigeria, this, you know what I mean? And
Right.
he's out there following his dreams, speaking his truth and doing what he feels he's called to do. I will hope that that in itself, that story should be an inspiration to uh, the next generation. But in addition to that, there are things that maybe I may not be privy to talk too much in details about, but there are things, there are, programs and agendas we are working on, from a high level, like collaboration with individuals within the country to help amplify, the vibes. Um, Also, just taking the vibes to the road, like I mentioned, since the launch of the brand, I've taken it to Australia, I've taken it to Canada. Next month I'm taking it to Iowa in the United States. I believe in the same month I should be taking it to North Carolina, taking it back to another state in Canada around late March. And so that physical interaction and interacting with these people, I'm hoping that, and I've had firsthand, comments like, yo, this is really inspiring. You living your dream. You know what I mean? Like you talk about doing clothes and you always talk about loving clothes, and I see it in reality, that, I will hope that if they don't get anything from it, that should be, at least um an influence on the next generation.
So for a minute now, I mean, I just want to, for our audience, our listening audience, and those of you who are watching, you can see I'm rocking my Yena.
Yeah.
Yesterday, I think a couple of days ago,
Yeah,
I had my gold one on, and I mean the quality, the fabric alone. I mean, you can check this the website is right there where we posted the video. I mean, it was just a synopsis of what I mean we're doing in the back end. But I'm telling you, man, you're gonna enjoy. He has sweaters, sweatsuits. I mean, hots and everything, anything you think about, and I think there's more to come.
and more
So
to
this is
come.
how we do. So I know maybe as we conclude, you kind of do a little bit of commercial there, but let's move on to the product line. You know what I mean? The No Spider Story hoodie is something that I was looking at it and it kind of captivated my attention.
Yeah,
And,
yeah.
you know what I mean, being a Monrovia born and raised, you know what I mean, are gaining popularity that particular. So walk us through the narrative behind or the story behind these pieces. But that okay, let's just look at that one piece. No Spider Story
No
hoodie. That no,
spoiler story.
yes,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Thanks for asking that, man. Because not only, I don't. To be honest with you, I don't get that question a lot from Liberians because I think every Liberian just get it. No spoiler story. But I do get it a lot from other nationals, and the way I've learned to explain it to them is, no complications, no drama, no, no spot of story. It's just you staying focused. You don't want all this noise. You just on your path, And I just wanted to add on that because everything that the brand is doing, from the designs to the choice of phrases and all that, is very strategic. You know what I mean? Like there's meanings behind it. Like I'm not just choosing those pastor because it's a popular saying in Liberia, but because of what as a brand we are trying to push across. We got another line called minding my business. It's all about forget about this noise, zone in where you going. You know what I
focus.
mean? Yeah,
Yes.
stay focused, so and then yeah, I mentioned Moravia born and raised. It's just wearing your roots proudly. I was born in Moravia, and I feel very proud about being that.
Yes.
So, but yeah, there's stories behind everything as far as while there may be, and I don't really think it's uniquely different stories. It's the same story, just different kind of angles of approach to it, but the message is the same.
Okay.
Let's forget this noise and focus on us, like focus on our path. That's what all this is about. Yeah.
Oh, awesome, awesome. I see the artistry that you bring into the table as well. I mean,
Yeah.
I think it's awesome that you're doing that, and that'll take me to our next question, huh? Because we about a little close to half an hour, you know what I mean, to
Sure.
our program. I know we started a little after 8 o'clock, but you recently launched, I guess, your latest and improved, I would say maybe modified website. So now tell us briefly, how does the platform enhance the customer experience and connect more people to your brand? How does it do that?
Yeah, so launching that new platform was a big thing for us. It was really important because I, as a person, believe everything starts from mindset, which eventually evolves into forming an identity around it. And the identity of this brand, luxury, streetwear brand, for a while it felt like there was a disconnect between the vibes we're actually putting out in person and the representation online. So it was very important for us to update the site, which we did to enhance the customers' experience. And so with the enhancement, you got of course a brand new look, a more interactive and responsive site, and easier ways to get to checkout. Just streamlining the whole process and all of that. So it has really enhanced the customer experience that's seen in like the numbers and stuff on the back end.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you for that response, and great job, man. I'm really impressed.
Thank
Now
you.
we want you to tell us your global goal and vision. You know what I mean? Please walk us through how you envision, you know what I mean, LVO, which is involving in the next 5 years. And what
Okay.
role will it be, you know what I mean, be playing representing Liberia culture globally?
So representing the Liberian culture globally is something we are already in. We're already in. It's we already in the middle of doing it. Taking it to different cities, different countries, and all that. There's a lot that comes with that. And one thing from a first-hand experience, for example, when we took the brand to Canada, um, the Liberians that were there, they received it very well. They were proud of what they saw as a Liberians, and even if you went on Instagram or whatever, there accounts of people talking about how amazing they think the brand is and all that stuff. Um, but at the core of all of that, it put a certain spotlight on Liberia, because now Canadians looking like, oh, why all these Liberians going there? What's going on? Hey, you know what I mean? So
Right.
there's like, um, that's like the lower end of the scale of all of that. But on the higher end of the scale, we are engaging in activities like you have mentioned, and I think I've mentioned several times. Our brand is more than fashion. It's all about pushing the culture. So we are currently involved with working with musicians. We currently work very closely with the Liberian artist KZ, Big Name. And part of some future plans is to wrap all of this around like annual festivals that can amplify and highlight the Liberian culture and vibes. So globally, I would think that how we're going to impact that is by continuing to take the vibes to the world and implementing other things like festivals and social experiments and experiences to push that mission.
This is great. This is great.
Yeah.
So quickly, so obviously you are an entrepreneur, you know what I mean? What are some of the
Mm.
challenges that you face, why, you know what I mean, put together these brands, or you know what I mean, coming up with all of these, and how have those challenges actually kind of shape you as a brand master? I would just call you brand because sometimes when I sit down with you and we talk about certain things, you would say we start talking about this one thing and then you start thinking about something. So it's more like a journey that you're on.
I am on a
You know what
journey.
I mean?
Yes, yeah, yes,
And hopefully you get to somewhere.
yeah.
But what are some of the challenges that you face with?
So I just want to talk about one challenge. Like there's several, but there's this one that really it aches me. I think one of my biggest challenge was, in the beginning stages where um, getting my targeted audience to understand that this was for them. That yeah, why it's a business and all that. It was coming from a deeper place that I just wanted to play my role in helping to amplify who we were as a people. That we hear. We also hear. And that's that I wanted to play my role in that in all of that. So yeah.
Perfect, perfect. Now we'll try to wrap this session up. I mean, I want to talk about some of your engagement and call to action. And so, say just for this particular session, which is our second session into our interview, what message do you want to leave with Liberians and supporters worldwide
So
about helping
yeah,
you?
before we go to that question, I don't believe I finished my thought process on
I'm sorry, I mean, I
yeah.
thought you
No,
were
you
done.
didn't you didn't you didn't you didn't interrupt me. I paused for so long you thought I was over.
Yeah.
But yeah. So shit. Um yeah, running back with our question again, because I know there was a point I was trying to make.
You made a question before.
The
We're
la-
talking about the challenge.
before this last question.
So I was talking about what are some of the challenges that you
Yeah,
face?
so that challenge I was talking about, that my target audience, which happen to be Liberians. I in the beginning stages, I had many frustrating conversations where, you know, in on my end, I felt like people were not understanding or not even appreciating what I was trying to do. Like, yes, it's a business, you make money from it, all that, but there's a greater message behind it. Like, I just want to, push this message, whether it's through fashion or through my podcast or through any other initiatives that I'm doing, that our way forward is learning to love ourselves, appreciating ourselves. You understand what I'm saying? That's where
Right.
it starts. If you
Identity.
love yourself, you're not going to live in a dirty place. Like, it's normal human nature, right? So that was my frustration, because I'll tell someone like, yo, I'm starting this brand called LIB. Oh, why are you going to restrict it to only Liberians? What about these people? What? And I'm like, this is not the only source of income or living I'm looking forward to. This is something I'm passionate about, and I'm hoping to play a role, my role as a citizen. You know, that's where this is coming from. So that was very frustrating to me, and I think that was my major challenges. You always have like the normal business challenges. Starting any project is difficult, but that part of it was very frustrating. Like, when do we love ourselves? Like, this is a brand for you to amplify who we are. And in the same breath, you asking me why I'm not considering other people. Dude. Like, I never got that. It was very frustrating. So, you know,
Wow, that can be a whole big topic, and this our identity. I don't think what I mean. The book says that so men think of themselves so easy the way we see ourselves, and the one thing we as Liberians we struggle with is not really valuing who we are in our
mhm.
identity, not appreciating ourselves. So definitely, I'm glad that you stuck with it because you have to, like you said, what I mean, despite the story, focusing, staying focused. And some people are dream killers, and if you're not careful, you will be
And
easily
and
distracted.
those people are what we call spotter story. You need to cut
Yeah,
them from around you. No
yeah.
spotters,
Okay.
So, yeah.
So then, as we conclude with this session, what will be your message to what do you want to leave with some uh, young man or young woman, some Liberian, or
I,
supporters worldwide?
I got the message is in twofold, man. I think the very first part of it is it's a mindset game, dude. Like, there is nothing in life that starts without a decision to want to do it. Like, I mean, please, someone show me an example of someone doing something without intending to do it or deciding that they're gonna do it. Especially if it's gonna be effective, successful, and impactful. It has to be intentional. It has to be strategic. So I think it starts from reevaluating this. And in a way that it ends up teaching us to love ourselves better, love our roots, love our country, love our culture, and be proud of it. And I'm on a mission to play my role in that part of it. And let's see where it takes me. But I want to encourage the young people, the next generation. The future of the country belongs to them. You know, we've been 177 years old as a country. You know, and that right now it just doesn't look good. You know.
Wow. I'm glad that, and this is one thing that really connected me to you.
Yeah,
Ariezz. I got the name right this time.
yeah,
Adriano.
Aries,
Yeah, yeah. I want to make sure this is
yeah.
a big Italian name. I think you got some Italian blood in you. Yeah, but I know we would talk hours upon hours, you and I, and it's true. This is all about giving back. It's about our country, seeing our country being brought up from the pit. And so we will conclude on that session, and then we'll transition to a little bit. I won't say it's politics, but there's no way. You know what I mean? Because with a question as to, can Liberia succeed with our blueprint? Is the question that I want us to conclude with. As we transition from just talking about the business, what I mean, our culture, our identity, our heritage, and all, and it's good because without a blueprint, I don't know. But I want to hear from you. What's your take on that? As we see our country, going the path forward. So what would you say? What is your perspective? I know there's a lot.
I would say no. My answer is no. Like it's just not possible. Like it's just not feasible. It's just not realistic that anybody can make any sustainable or effective change or impact any situation without you know intentional strategy, which is a blueprint. Like it starts with the destination. I'll take it back. So my answer to the question is no, but I do want to even go further and say that um, before we even have the conversation of a successful blueprint, we have to understand what the blueprint is about. And I don't think as a group of people we are even in agreement of as collectively as what this blueprint will even be about. So that's my take on it.
So one of the reasons why I asked, I mean, you have a background in project management, and I know that
Sure.
we've talked behind the scene, and this blueprint. Your answer now is no. You know what I
No,
mean? And then
it's not possible.
there is a need here. What
There's a need for
would you,
blueprint.
as a professional, what I mean, with a military background, and then also just your life experience, what I mean, what would you bring to the table? What would you like to suggest, recommend, or maybe what I mean, espouse here that we can do as a people, because the country is filling every capacity,
Yeah.
and it's clear that without a blueprint. But what
Yeah.
would be maybe, let's say, two suggestions? Where
Mhm.
do we start from? What should that blueprint look like in order for this country to pick up and get back? We would say get back because the country was doing well. We can say the
Yeah.
country was established in a poor foundation, but was doing well from its birth
Mhm.
to 1979 for the most part. You know what I mean? We I think this was a perfect opportunity for us to get back on a new footing. So I just want you to maybe one or two things to be more specific. How do we start?
It's I think even to answer that question, um, in preparation for this discussion, uh, I did a deep dive into the importance of a blueprint for a country, and by extension, the role of having a defined national identity on a country, how it impacts all of this. And I think that before we really get to that blueprint, the first step will have to be, in whatever ways that makes sense for us, to start to address, the mindset, and is it's a very difficult conversation to have because there's a lot of opposing views on it. But I remain that you first have to decide to do anything before you do it. And right now, I'm not sure as a country, maybe in some individuals made decisions, but as a country, I don't think as a people we are on the same page that we're heading. When I did that research, I saw this stuff. Rwanda, they had this campaign called the 2020
Vision.
stuff, vision, which was related to the recovery of the country after the war. Before they even implemented the 2020 vision, they had to implement, and I want to read it because it's is very important. Uh, they created some kind of unity and reconciliation commission to promote unity through education and discourse. They did that before they even got to implementing the 2020 vision. It starts from here, brother. Like, I've had several arguments over the past couple of days. I think I got a headache about this, that, and I'm still waiting for the person to tell me that it doesn't start with a decision to, like, that it doesn't start with a decision to want to do it. Give me one example where you don't start with a decision, especially if it's going to be impactful or valuable to the situation. It has to be intentional and strategic. Like, so.
So in other words, what you're saying, people are not, we don't have the people with the mindset who are ready, who are intentional to say, oh yeah, this is, I think we've come to a place where to say that we feel, and so we need to get back and then start anew. So in other words, you're saying that our people they're not even to the place yet.
Yes, so let me say it this way. So by definition, right, a blueprint, especially in regards to national development, right, is a strategic framework that outlines a country's long-term goals and the actionable steps required to achieve them.
Perfect.
So that's a blueprint. Okay. In the same research, I saw a couple of manifestos. There's one from the current president of the country that kind of outlines some real, things, infrastructure development, youth development, all that stuff. I want to argue that since our formation, one way or the other, somebody has been coming up with this stuff on paper. My argument in all of this remains that for 177 years, if we were doing the right things, if we're on the right path, if, like how people say, oh, this is happening, that's happening. Like, if we're on the right path, why would we be where we at right now? Like, I just don't understand it, and I'm not coming from a place like I know it all. I'm just confused that knowing that if you are hungry right now and you need that food, you will get up and go get food. You will make the decision, you'll feel it that I'm hungry, and you'll make the decision that you need to go get food. I feel a lot of things that's happening is because it's now a priority for people that could fix them, or they're not even looking at it. They're not even considering it. But I am 100% confident that anything that people truly want, they will make happen. And I just think we're not at a point where we want it yet. And that's my position on all of this. Yeah.
So Ariezz, most definitely, I like the fact that you have come and we're hearing it from your perspective, because this is something that most time when I have a lot of my shows, in fact, New Year's Eve I had a show and we were talking about individual blueprint, your life's blueprint, your life's meaning, and it all centers around the same thing, that we as a nation, we've not come to the place to realize our true meaning. And then because we're talking about it, I think it starts from the home. It starts from maybe a family, then it goes into the community, Then it goes to we'll say society, and then we talk about the nation. So until we can get to that place, so I'm glad that you, and it's something. I mean, you was very intentional about it when we talked. You said, "Look, yes, you would do the interview, but I want to talk about that." And I hope that what I mean, our viewers that are listening or will be listening here, maybe in the foreseeable future, will take something from this, because I think is of vital importance for us to put together a blueprint, because it's more like having a vision. The book says that without vision, the people perish. But the thing is, this is your debut, so I wanted to really hear from you, and I'm glad that you came. You know what I mean? So if you have tuning, this is the We Too All Liberals Movement platform, your distinct and dynamic platform that speaks to for the masses. This is an interview with the CEO of LVO, which is Liberia
Yes, sir.
Vibe Only, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so yes, this is a big deal. He has a clothing line, what I mean? You can see from entrepreneur to a little bit of politics. We're talking about everything, how he started, what I mean, serving the military. This man is also, what I mean, he's literate, he's educated, he's passionate about seeing, uplifting our culture and our heritage. So I mean, it's a pleasure to have you here. Um, I don't want us to get too much into it again, because we're all almost an hour
Yeah.
into it. So, what will be your closing remark here before we wrap this thing up?
My closing remark will just be packed with, you know, shameless plugs and stuff. Again, hey, make sure to check LVO. That's the brand, LIB Vibes Only. You can find us on LIB underscore or Vibes Only on Instagram, or LVO on Facebook, or you can check out our website, which is LIB Vibes Only. Um, in furtherance of the mention of the brand, we also recently started a podcast called Rediscovering Liberia, with the mention of, exploring the Liberian identity and mindset. Make sure you check that out. It's on YouTube. It's on all streaming platforms. YouTube with the name Rediscovering Liberia, the podcast. Um, so I think my final word to this, to all of this, is, as a group of people, whatever makes sense, whatever it takes for us to get to this point, we have to. And that point I'm talking about is a point where we begin to love ourselves, love our country, love our neighborhoods, love our neighbors, you know, because, it's just common human stuff, dude. Like, if you love and respect yourself, you're not going to live in a dirty place. You're not going to wear dirty clothes. I've been in several arguments where people say, "Oh, that's different. It's on a human level." No, it's humans that's running the country. So what they're doing on their level is the same thing that's just translating on a national scale. It's not different.
Right.
You understand? So if you're not doing it here, you're not going to do it there. So I just want to urge and encourage. But another thing, through this research for this program, I just really, 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 really want to give some shout outs to, like, a few organizations within the country, that have been pushing out pretty much the same message that we are, though they're rating with some challenges, lack of funding resources and all that stuff. But I just want to say, hey, keep doing what you're doing. We appreciate you guys. I'm trying to find the name of these organizations. I like what they're doing. You have just give me 1 minute. I was just looking them up. So you have the National Identification Registry in the country, which has a mission of supplying ID cards and things of that nature to the citizens, but they're rating with challenges like limited reach and awareness and integration. You got, like, there's a organization called the Mindset Liberia and Project Change that has a mission of empowering communities to reduce dependency, change that mindset. But again, they have challenges like, you know, it's on a very small scale,
Right.
accessibility, and you know, Liberia has this systematic integration of things. Like we just have this problem with not having systems and stuff. So I just really want to give shout outs to those organizations because everything we're talking here, from everything I've been reading, they've, you know, in their own way, been trying to do it. And it's sad that they're not getting the support and the help they need to move these agendas forward. But I just want to close with that. Good jobs, guys. Keep doing it.
Well, this was Power Pack. I know we have our culture. We foster the culture. I know we talk about it soon. We'll talk about that culture of I am because we are, and you can see how we all align towards and showing that Liberia will be brought up from her current condition, and it would not happen without a collective effort. So it was great having you on the show. We look forward to more collaboration. You know what I mean? Each one help one. I mean, this is a never-ending task. I mean, from just talking about the country as a whole, and then to talk about you as an individual, the quality of work, and just the style and the effort that you put into your fabric speaks to the core of the kind of person you are. So thank you very much for coming. This is the Withotu, and thank you for being on the show. As we all know that the Withotu movement is not just a community, it's a way of life. So again, it's great to have you on the show, Ariezz. And let's keep this union, let's keep this collaboration. I'm not going to sound redundant, but I mean, no words to express having you on the show. I think you're very resourceful, a lot of information you brought to the table, and I hope that, you know, we'll continue to push this idea. Thank you very much. You have a great night, and I look forward to talking to you again. Bye. I've been your host, C.A. Williams. Bye. Thank you very much, Ariezz.
It's all we want to live. Give me food, give me clothes, give me love, and give me shelter.